Welcome to the stories on Echoes of Revenge. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. The call came on a Tuesday morning while I was reviewing quarterly reports. My sister Vanessa's voice had that bright, performative quality she used when she wanted something. "Just calling to let you know I've been helping with the cabin," she said. "Since you never use it anymore, I thought I'd put it to work. Already made $12,000. You can thank me later." I set down my coffee. The cabin in Breckenridge was mine. Purchased 3 years ago with my bonus, titled solely in my name, mortgage paid from my account. I went twice a month for skiing in solitude. "What do you mean, put it to work?" Airbnb, obviously. Professional photos, dynamic pricing, the whole strategy. 5-star reviews already. Mom and Dad think it's brilliant. My jaw tightened. "Vanessa, you can't." "Can't what? Let a $600,000 property sit empty while I'm drowning in student loans? That's selfish, honestly. Family helps family. I'll send you the booking calendar." She hung up before I could respond. I opened my laptop and searched. There it was. My cabin listed under Vanessa's mountain retreat. 12 glowing reviews. 23 upcoming reservations extending into ski season. She'd photographed my furniture, my artwork, my custom kitchen. The description mentioned family heritage property and authentic Colorado experience. She'd been running this operation for 4 months. I called my attorney, Patricia Chin, who'd handled the cabin purchase. Her voice went sharp and professional when I explained. "Don't confront her yet," Patricia said. "Let me pull the insurance policy and rental records. If guests have been staying there, we need documentation of everything before we move." "What kind of documentation?" "The kind that shows premeditation. The kind prosecutors appreciate." 3 days later, Patricia called back. "Your sister filed for a business license using the cabin's address. Listed herself as proprietor. She's been collecting occupancy taxes and depositing them into an account with her name and the property address. She's not just renting your place. She's built an entire illegal business framework around it." "How illegal?" "Insurance fraud, tax evasion, unauthorized commercial use of residential property, possible forgery if she signed anything as owner. And that's before we get to the trespassing and theft of services." "Want to hear the good part?" "There's a good part?" "She's been paying your property insurance premiums from her business account. That creates a paper trail showing she knew she wasn't the owner but wanted to maintain coverage for her operation. That's consciousness of guilt." I felt something cold settle in my chest. "What do? "We wait. She's committed multiple felonies already. But if you want the kind of consequences that stick, we need her to commit one more. We need an incident that triggers an investigation she can't control." The incident arrived 6 days later. I was in a board meeting when my phone buzzed with an unknown Colorado number. I let it go to voicemail. The message was from Sandra Alvarez, claims adjuster with Mountain States Insurance. "Mr. Hartley, this is regarding claim number 447 to 923 for your property at 1847 Pinecrest Drive. A guest sustained injuries on November 18th and is pursuing medical expenses and damages. We need to schedule a statement. Please call within 24 hours as there are some ownership discrepancies we need to clarify." I forwarded it to Patricia. Her response came in 3 words. "It's happening." "Perfect." Patricia handled the callback. She introduced herself as my attorney, confirmed my sole ownership, and expressed shock that the property had been used commercially. She requested all claim documentation and policy records. The insurance company's investigation moved faster than I expected. Within 48 hours, senior investigator Marcus Webb called Patricia directly. He conferenced me in. "Mr. Hartley," Webb said, his voice carrying the flat professionalism of someone who'd seen every scam. "Your sister Vanessa Hartley filed this claim as the property owner and policy holder. She provided a lease agreement naming herself as owner, utility bills in her name and photographs showing her residence at the property." "That's interesting," Patricia said. "Since my client purchased the property in 2022, has made all mortgage payments, pays all taxes, and has the title deed in his name alone. Ms. Hartley has no ownership interest." Silence. "Then, I see. And you have documentation of this. Extensive documentation. Title deed, mortgage records, tax statements, purchase agreement, 3 years of payment history. All showing sole ownership by my client, who never authorized any commercial use, insurance claims, or rental operations. More silence. This significantly changes the nature of our investigation. We'll need to involve law enforcement. The claim amount is $127,000. Medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering from a deck collapse. If Ms. Hartley filed fraudulently. She did, Patricia said. And we'd like copies of everything she submitted. For our own legal action. Patricia received the file the next day. I drove to her office to review it together. The folder was 3 inches thick. Vanessa had forged a property deed listing herself as owner. She'd created utility accounts in her name for a property she didn't own. She'd filed business licenses, collected taxes, maintained insurance under false pretenses, and when an accident occurred, filed a massive claim as if she owned the place. This isn't opportunistic crime, Patricia said, spreading documents across her desk. This is systematic, premeditated fraud. Look at the timeline. She established the LLC 4 months before listing the property. She researched zoning laws, applied for permits, created a business plan. She built an entire fake real estate portfolio around your cabin. I picked up the forged deed. My signature looked almost perfect. Where did she learn to do this? Real estate fraud tutorials are everywhere online. But the signature, she practiced that. See these photocopies behind the deed? Those are her test runs. She saved them in the file. The evidence showed she'd practiced my signature 47 times before forging the deed. The ghost ledger started writing itself in my mind that night. I opened a spreadsheet and began documenting what she'd actually stolen. Not just money, but something harder to quantify. Thanksgiving 2022. Vanessa offered to check on the cabin while I was traveling. Cost, trust. Every family gathering since, she sat across from me knowing she was stealing. Every text asking how I was doing. Every birthday card. All performance. The emotional accounting showed 18 months of calculated deception, 47 family dinners where she smiled while running her illegal operation, 12 holidays where she accepted my gifts while depositing my rental income into her accounts. Patricia filed a police report with the Summit County Sheriff. Detective Rachel Morrison took the case based on the dollar amounts and documentation quality. We met in her office, a cramped space with mountain views and filing cabinets labeled by crime type. Most fraud cases have evidence gaps, Morrison said, reviewing our folder. This is different. She documented everything. The forged deed, the practice signatures, the business structure. She kept records of her own crimes. Makes my job easy, but I'll never understand why they do this. Arrogance, Patricia said. She thought she'd never get caught. She thought her brother would never check. She thought family loyalty meant immunity. Morrison nodded. We'll start with a forensic accountant reviewing the money trail. Then we'll interview the guests who stayed there. We need testimony that they believed they were renting from the owner. After that, we bring her in. The forensic accountant, David Chin, spent 2 weeks analyzing Vanessa's business records. His report ran 47 pages. The summary was devastating. Total rental income, $43,700. Operating expenses paid from rental income, $8,200. Property insurance premiums, $3,400. Occupancy taxes collected but not remitted, $4,100. Net profit deposited to personal account, $28,000. She'd stolen nearly $30,000 and committed tax evasion on top of everything else. The guest interviews were worse. 7 families testified they'd booked Vanessa's mountain retreat, believing Vanessa owned the property. 3 mentioned she'd personally greeted them, giving tours and sharing family history about the cabin. 1 couple said Vanessa had cried telling them about her grandfather building the place, promising to keep it in the family forever. My grandfather had never been to Colorado. The cabin was new construction when I bought it. Morrison scheduled Vanessa's interview for December 12th. Patricia and I weren't present, but Morrison called afterward. She denied everything at first, Morrison said. Then we showed her the forged deed with her practice signatures behind it. She tried to claim you'd given verbal permission. We showed her the guest testimonies about her pretending to be the owner. She tried to say it was a misunderstanding. Then we showed her the LLC formation documents and business bank account. What did she do? Started crying. Said she'd made mistakes but family should forgive family. Said you'd never miss the money. Said she'd pay it back over time if we just didn't press charges. Classic fraud defendant. Minimizing, deflecting, appealing to emotion. What happens now? We submit to the DA. With this evidence volume, we're recommending multiple felony charges. Insurance fraud, forgery, theft over $25,000, filing false instruments. We're also referring the tax evasion to IRS criminal investigation. She's looking at 3 to 8 years if convicted on all counts. My mother called that evening, her voice shaking with rage. How could you do this to your sister? He made a mistake. Family forgives mistakes. You're going to destroy her life over money? I felt something shift. She forged my signature 47 times before she got it right, Mom. She practiced my signature like an art project. That's not a mistake. That's premeditation. She's your sister. She's a criminal who stole from me for 18 months while sitting across from me at your dinner table. Every holiday, every birthday, every family gathering, she was robbing me. And you want me to forgive that? Silence. Then, you've changed. You used to care about family. I still do, I said. That's why I'm teaching her that family doesn't mean immunity from consequences. I hung up. Dad called next, then my aunt, then 2 cousins. The family mobilized around Vanessa, framing me as vindictive, cruel, unforgiving. No one mentioned the forged deeds, the practiced signatures, the elaborate fraud. Only that I was destroying the family over money. I blocked them all. The DA charged Vanessa with 6 felony counts in January. Her attorney tried to negotiate, but Patricia shut it down. Your client built a criminal enterprise using my client's property. She forged legal documents, committed insurance fraud, and stole nearly $30,000. There's no negotiation. Take it to trial or plead guilty. Vanessa pleaded guilty to 3 felony counts in February: forgery, theft over $25,000, and insurance fraud. The judge sentenced her to 4 years, suspended to 2 years with restitution of $43,700 plus legal fees of $18,000. She'd also face IRS penalties and permanent felony record. The insurance company denied her claim and sued her for filing fraudulently. The guest who'd been injured sued her personally. Her real estate license, she'd gotten one during this period planning to expand, was revoked before she could use it. 6 months later, I sit on the cabin deck watching snow fall through pine trees. The bourbon is smooth, the air is cold and clean, and the silence is mine. Vanessa destroyed herself trying to steal something she could never own. She built an empire on forged documents and practiced signatures. She bet that family loyalty would protect her from consequences. She learned the difference between family and immunity. The cabin is mine. The accounts are protected. The family is gone. And I've never felt more at peace. They wanted to use my property to build their fortunes. Instead, I used their crimes to build my boundaries. The deck is solid now. Fixed properly by licensed contractors, paid for by my money. No shortcuts. No fraud. Just ownership. Clear and documented. Exactly as it should be.